everybody, welcome back. The focus of today's lesson is how we can develop rhythmic creativity with our left foot. So as usual, I like to start off with some kind of basic beat, so check it out. Oh, sorry about that. I don't think I'm going to be winning any kind of beatbox contest anytime soon. But the reason I was singing that pattern was to demonstrate that it's the bass drum rhythm and the snare drum that really make this beat sound the way it does. So the object of this video is to take the bass drum patterns from our favorite beats and just simply shift them over to our hi-hat foot. So let's just start with that. Okay, so you'll notice that in that example, my bass drum was doing what my left foot was doing in the very first example. Nothing. Okay, so the idea is to create a fresh new bass drum pattern. So what I'm going to do is play the original hand pattern, but come up with a new bass drum pattern. Okay, so now it's time to combine everything. We're going to take the original hand pattern, the old bass drum pattern is being played on the hi-hat now, and now we're going to just add in our new bass drum rhythm, and here's what it sounds like when you put everything together. In some situations, you might find that the volume of the hi-hat isn't going to come through the way you intend it to. So a quick remedy is just to attach a tambourine to your hi-hat. Although this really raised the volume up a lot, we might not necessarily want it jingling throughout an entire song. So a quick option for that would be to just put it on a bracket and play it with a bass drum pedal. Okay, so here's a couple more options for you. You don't have to limit it to a tambourine. You can rig up a cowbell, a jam block, or in this case, I've got a little 8-inch drum here, and here's what that sounds like. So I've stated in the past that I don't have the ability to think of 4 completely independent ideas and then play them. But if the pattern's written out, I'm able to see how the hands and feet work together. If only there was a book that explains how you can hear a pattern, write it down, read it, and then play it. Wow, not only was that strange, but that was some pretty horrible dancing, huh? Okay, it's time for some variations. This is a Neil Peart-inspired groove, which I'm going to play on the bell of the ride cymbal. And for this example, I'm just going to play a more typical quarter note hi-hat pattern. And here's what it sounds like. so now I'm going to take that bass drum rhythm and I'm going to play it with my left foot, and I've created a new bass drum rhythm. And by the way, for the sake of really bringing out the left foot patterns, I'm going to play the rest of these examples on the tambourine down here. In the first couple examples, the original bass drum rhythms have been pretty simple. So here's a few examples where we're going to get a lot more complicated with the bass drum. So obviously there's a lot going on with that bass drum pattern. So now when I switch it over to the tambourine here, I'm going to leave a little bit more space with the bass drum so it won't be too cluttered. I've got one more pattern for you, and what I'm going to do is just play the original bass drum pattern down here on the tambourine, and I'll just kind of solo it out. I'll keep the right hand playing the hi-hat, and then I'll bring in the kick and the snare. Well, that about does it for today. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.